Msingi wangu ulikuwa hapa Dashie Primary School, na sasa leo nimekuja kuambia Mungu asante na kushangilia na walimu wangu, wanafunzi.
Robinson Simiu alikuwa mwanafunzi ambaye alikuwa mtiifu sana, mtoto ambaye alikuwa anapenda sana masomo, mtoto ambaye alikuwa hakuwa anataka kukosea yeyote, wale ambao alikuwa nasoma na wao na walimu, na sana sana alikuwa anapenda darasa lake liwe likiongoza.
Nimefurahia sana Simiu kuja kututembelea na ametumotivate sana na ametuma tukue na interest ya kutia bidii sana.
Tulikuwa tunajidharau lakini saa hizi tunasikia tukiwa tumefurahia.
And all the best to the 2020 KCSE class. And of course, everybody passed, and we celebrate you differently. We're taking our first commercial break here at KBC Channel 1 News. Don't go anywhere. We still have plenty more to come. Stay with us.
Did you know that the policy document is evidence of the existence of an insurance contract between you and your insurance company? It is important to know the terms and conditions of your insurance policy. Make sure you obtain, read, and understand the terms and conditions of the policy document. Now you know. IRA, promoting insurance, protecting the insured.
Je, umeomoka? Kama hujaomoka kwenye QuickBin ndio mambo yote. Hapa tuko na fridge, kodi yake ni CM. Tuko na gas cooker, kodi yake ni CK. Tuko na TV, kodi yake ni TV. Tuko na simu aina ya Samsung ni SM, ama Oppo ni Oppo. My friend, mahali popote unanitizama, eka hizo kodi zake kisha utume kwa 4032353. 4032353, alafu utakuwa unaomoka na hizi bidhaa. Kumbuka, kwenye QuickBin ni bidhaa bora zaidi kwa bei ya chini kwa chini.
Daddy! Daddy! Daddy!
I'm not his father. He's not my son. You've made a big mistake. I'm supposed to pick up as a girl in her late 20s. White skin, long legs, not a little kid like him. Answer me. Are you Xiaobai?
Daddy, I'm Xiao.
Don't call me that.
Is this Xiaobai the girl who hosted us in America? The one with the long legs, white skin, and sweet Taiwanese accent?
Yeah, that's her.
His mother just passed away, and you are his father.
Huh?
And welcome back. You're watching Channel 1 News Hour. Anne Wangeshi is a sign language interpreter. Let's continue with the broadcast. And the county government of Murang'a has released over 100 million shillings for bursaries for underprivileged students. The money has been channeled through Nyota Zetu scholarships and will cater for the 2,000 students.
Speaking while dispersing the bursary checks, Murang'a County Governor Mwangi wa Iria said that the success of the program is when the scholarships caters for needy students who later perform well.
We have paid school fees for over 2,000 kids. Who are our scheme, our scholarship scheme, Christine the Nyota Zetu, and they are all back to school.
The parents of the beneficiaries expressed joy and gratitude at the opportunity handed to their children who will now comfortably pursue secondary school education. Elsewhere, Kiambu Member of Parliament Jude Jomo has faulted the National Treasury for delaying disbursement of the National Government Constituency Development Fund, saying most of the development projects have stalled.
Na hii pesa ni only 2.5%. Mnaiuliza nini? Na mko na 97.5% ambayo mnataka kufanya vile mnataka. So pesa ya CDF iache kuchezewa, iache kuwa delayed, ndio inasaidia watoto wetu, ndio inaleta maendeleo katika ground.
Jomo, who issued bursaries over 32 million shillings to 4,000 beneficiaries, pledged to construct more secondary schools to facilitate transition of learners from primary school. Patricia Widera, for Channel 1 News.
Elsewhere, 2 police constables charged with killing a businesswoman at City Park, Nairobi 3 years ago have been found guilty of manslaughter. Police constables William Chirchir and Godfrey Kirui were charged with the murder of Janet Wayaki, who was fatally shot on the morning of May 20th, 2018 by the 2 police officers while she was in her vehicle with the nephew Bernard Chege, who sustained injuries. High Court Judge Stella Mutuku on Tuesday ruled that the officers used excessive force.
Police constables William Chirchir and Godfrey Kirui will next week mitigate in their manslaughter case after the court found them guilty of killing Janet Wayaki at City Park, Nairobi in 2018. High Court Judge Stella Mutuku ruled that the force the police officers used was not proportional, as there was no offense that had been committed by Wayaki and her nephew, and they did not pose any threat when the officers opened fire. She noted that the officers never established the occupants of the vehicle before opening fire and did not shoot to disable the car.
I therefore find William Chirchir, the first accused, and Godfrey Kirui, the second accused, not guilty of the offense of murder, contrary to Section 203 as read with Section 204 of the Penal Code. Instead, I find each of them guilty of manslaughter.
Elsewhere, a Kiambu court has ordered Peter Njenga Mwangi, alias Ole Sankale, the prime suspect believed to be behind the murder of National Lands Commission Communication Officer Jennifer Wambua, to undergo a mental assessment to ascertain if he is fit to stand trial. Mwangi will be presented in court on Wednesday for further directions. The prime suspect has since been placed at the scene of the crime by forensic evidence, as well as witnesses who saw him with the deceased the last time she was seen alive on March 12, 2021. And a city lawyer has been released on a 1.5 million shillings bond after denying 3 counts of corruption, including receiving 3.5 million shillings bribe from a woman. Appearing before Anti-Corruption Chief Magistrate Douglas Ogoti, Ahmed Ngaira Rashid denied the charges. It is alleged that being the manager legal services at Agricultural Finance Corporation, he requested for a financial advantage from Nancy Kavinya Kioko with intent that, in consequence, he would influence writing off a loan of 10 million shillings she had taken with the Agricultural Finance Corporation. The matter will be mentioned on May 27, 2021. Finally, advocates in Meru County on Tuesday held a peaceful demonstration at Tigania Law Courts over what they claim is harassment and misconduct of the Tigania Law Courts Chief Magistrate Sogomo Kadogo. Carrying placards, the advocates, upon being denied entry into the premises by security officers, proceeded to break the gate and force their way into the court's compound. Thereafter, they presented their petition to Linda Kiome, the chairperson Law Society of Kenya Mount Kenya region, who pledged to forward it to the Judicial Service Commission for action.
He is a person that you can hardly work with. And all the minimum that we want as a station or as an area, the whole Meru region, is to get him out of this area.
I want to assure the Meru Bar Association that this memorandum is going to be forwarded to the Judicial Service Commission, specifically through our male representative to the JSC, and it shall be acted upon.
For Channel 1 News, I'm Ben Troinjue.
In Laikipia County, police have arrested 3 suspects as they tried to steal recovered livestock at Kinamba police station in Laikipia during a handing over ceremony. The security officers had to shoot in the air to scare away the raiders who had already made their way to the hoarding area through the fence.
The handover ceremony of cows that were recovered by a multi-agency security team in Laikipia County went on smoothly at Kinamba police station as owners identified their stolen livestock. Then suddenly, all hell broke loose. A known youth, taking the advantage of the confusion, stormed the police station in an attempt to drive away the recovered cattle. Police officers were forced to fire in the air to dispatch the group that had already raided the yard where the cows had been held for identification. The incident that happened in presence of Laikipia County Commissioner Daniel Nyameti saw several youths arrested.
Kupitia the National Government Affirmative Funds, kupitia Wizara ya Elimu kuchengea mazule vile vile kuwapea madawati, furniture, vitabu ya watoto wasome. Na hiyo yote ni kusharibu hawa watu waache tabia na mira na kitamaduni ambayo imepitwa na wakati.
However, after the dust settled, the exercise continued, but with enhanced strictness. Hundreds of residents who had turned up to claim the recovered livestock urged the government to deal with the perennial cases of banditry attacks and livestock raids.
Nimetoka Wangwashi. Nashukuru sana kwa sababu ya mpangilio huu ambao umetumika siku ya leo, watu kupatiwa mifugo yao, kuona ya kwamba mifugo haiendi bila obi, yani kusema ya kwamba wakati uliripoti hiyo utaratibu unafuatwa vizuri.
Furahi sana kwa kuona ng'ombe yangu, hata kama ninapata moja, hiyo ingine mimi najua itakuja tu, siku italetwa ingine.
The administrator said the government will not relent until cattle rustling menace was dealt with forever.
The British High Commission will establish a program to support media freedom and environment in Kenya. Speaking at the Kenya Editors Guild Press Club meeting, British High Commissioner to Kenya Jane Marriott said the test run for the program called Protect will be done in Nairobi, Kisumu and Mombasa before being extended to other areas. The Protect program will provide grants to journalists to support the production of data-based journalism stories.
Support media freedom work here in Kenya and in the region. Why Kisumu, Mombasa and Nairobi? Well, we'd like to do this globally. We'd love to do this across the whole of Kenya, but you've got to start somewhere, and those are areas that were identified to us in conversation with civil society and with journalist groups as a good starting point. I agree, at some point it would be great to have this across Kenya, but let's start here, prove the concept, prove how we can work together first. And in terms of mentorship and support to academia, I agree developing the next generation of journalists is vitally important.
Muslims across the globe will be ending the holy month of Ramadan this week after a period of fasting and reflecting amid tough times and environment owing to the COVID-19 pandemic. In Mombasa County, preparations were in top gear as Muslim faithful thronged the famous Makinon Market, Marikiti, among other places, to shop for Eid al-Fitr celebrations.
This is the Marikiti Market in Mombasa County, known for its food supplies, among them spices and other commodities. The market is a beehive of activities for food and cloth vendors who are here to make a kill from Muslims shopping for Eid celebrations. The shoppers, however, lamented the high prices of commodities owing to economic ravages brought about by the COVID-19 pandemic.
Katika shambra za sikukuu, unaona watu wengi tumekuja kufanya shopping. Ukiangalia mali nyingi si gali, lakini maisha ndio magumu. Watu wengi wanajaribu, kila mtu anajaribu, familia ivae, familia ing'are katika sikukuu ya Eid. Watu wamepoteza makazi, wengine mabwana zao kwa nyumbani. Lakini hivyo Mwenyezi Mungu ametuwezesha.
Bidhaa kidogo ziko juu, ukichangia na hii hali ya corona, hali imekuwa si nzuri zaidi, lakini alhamdulillah tumemaliza salama Ramadhani yetu. Tunamshukuru Mwenyezi Mungu. Napenda kuwatakia Eid Mubarak Waislamu wote.
Ni ngumu, lakini kwa sababu ni chakula cha kawaida lazima tunang'ang'ana tukipate.
Muhammad Ali, the market chairman, said the business has been down all along, but with Eid celebrations around the corner, there has been an increase of customers.
Na upande wa soko tuona pia kidogo leo kulikuwa kuna mchangamfu kulingana watu wanajitayarisha, labda wengine Eid inaweza kuwa ni siku ya pili kesho ama wengine ni siku ya tatu yake. Kwa hivyo watu wameingia sokoni na baadhi wengine kufanya order katika kununua bidhaa ambazo zitawasaidia katika mfungo unaokuja wa Shawwal wa Eid ya kwanza ambao ni siku ya sikukuu ya Waislamu.
His sentiments were echoed by Ali Sheikh Aden, a chairman in the Marikiti midsection.
Sahi, lakini kwa sababu ya corona, kwa sababu ya uchumi ya nchi, si kama kawaida kama zamani, lakini alhamdulillah tunashukuru yale ambayo Mungu ametujalia inaendelea vizuri na tunamalizana ni lala salama, tunapeleka vizuri, biashara iko sawa sawa. Kariria hapa inachinjwa ngamia 10, ng'ombe 5 na mbuzi 100. Ndio sasa unaona vile ambao imeisha, hiyo limemaliza kwa sababu ya watu wanatijarisha sikukuu.
Ramadan is the 9th month in the Islamic calendar, and it's a time when Muslims around the globe focus on prayer, fasting, giving charity, and religious devotion.
The preparation of Eid celebrations are in top gear despite the pandemic, but the Muslim faithful are eager to celebrate the end of holy month of Ramadan in style. Reporting for Channel 1 News from Mombasa County, I'm Michael Mondiga.
Thank you, Mandiga from Mombasa County. In other news, a Kitui-based women group has faulted a court ruling legalizing donkey meat and skin trade. The women claim legalizing the slaughtering of donkeys and opening of abattoirs will affect many livelihoods, given that they depend solely on the said animals for both labor and income generation. Elsewhere, 5 people have sustained injuries after a bus they were traveling in was involved in a road accident along BARAGOI Maralal Road. This and more stories in the counties.
Speaking at Kithioko Market after a peaceful protest, the anti-donkey skin trade women's group lamented the said ruling, citing several challenges that donkey owners face when the donkey abattoirs are running. On February 2020, Agriculture CS imposed a ban on the slaughter of donkey, but on Thursday, 5th of May 2021, the court reversed the directive after the state failed to respond to an application challenging the legal notice.
Sasa kwetu tukiwa hatuna punda, hatuna maisha. Juu punda kwetu ndio anashota maji, tunafanya biashara na punda, tunasomesa watoto wetu na punda, tunashota shangalawe tunauza, juu yeye ndio anatutafutia income. Sasa sisi tunatoa mlio mwingi sana kwa serikali yetu, tunawaomba tena vile ilikuwa, tunawaomba hiyo vichinjio ifungwe kabisa kabisa.
Elsewhere, 5 people have sustained injuries after a bus they were traveling in was involved in a road accident along Baragoi Maralal Road. The bus with 23 passengers on board and overloaded with luggage veered off the slippery road and overturned, injuring the 5.
Wakati alifika sehemu moja anaitwa Boro, alianguka kwa mtaro. Kwa hiyo wakati hiyo ni watu 5 walipata majeraha, wakapelekwa hospitali ya Samburu Referral Hospital. 3 wakatibiwa na kawachilia waende nyumbani.
In Taita Taveta, the county government has launched the National Hospital Insurance Fund biometric registration, targeting 13,500 households. Taita Taveta Deputy Governor Majala Mlagui, who led the exercise, said the move was aimed at improving access to affordable health care.
Huu mradi wa NHIF unakuja kupunguza hizo gharama. Mradi huu wa NHIF utakuwa ni ushirikiano kati ya county government pamoja na serikali ya kitaifa.
Finally, a 28-year-old woman who was diagnosed with an imminent kidney failure 3 years ago has launched a 69-page book titled Marathon Prayer Book. Immaculate Mumbi Kimani, who was distressed and devastated during her illness, said she soon found strength in prayer and her faith, hence the new book.
This book will help you to gain confidence and strength to overcome all the challenges and difficulties you are in.
For Channel 1 News, I'm Nisi Imano Okoth.
Thank you so much for staying with us. Adams tuned in from Ongata Rungai. Thank you for watching. William watching live from Watamu, and Amara Alphonse, you are watching us from Garissa County. And Alex, you also tuned in. Those are your comments on Twitter. Dennis Otieno watching as usual from Bondo, and Joseph tuned in. Yes, Vidal Ndenge, you tuned in from Machakos County. Keep interacting with us. We are taking a second break. When we return, business news is up next.
not his father. He's not my son. You've made a big mistake. I'm supposed to pick up as a girl in her late 20s. White skin, long legs, not a little kid like him. Answer me. Are you Xia Xiaobai?
Daddy, I'm Xia.
No, don't call me that.
Is this Xia Xiaobai the girl who hosted us in America? The one with the long legs, white skin, and sweet Taiwanese accent?
Yeah, that's her.
His mother just passed away, and you are his father.
Huh?
Sasa, hii ng'ombe ni yako. Asante. Hii ng'ombe itatoa maziwa mengi kabisa. Sasa shida ya school fees imeisha. Jen, chukua hii. Hebu nikuulize, hii maneno nasikia ya bima ya elimu inaweza kuwa namna gani mtu anachukua? Process ya kuchukua insurance cover yote ni rahisi. Hata niko na cover ya gari yangu. Kwanza unajaza proposal form kama hii na uijaze wewe mwenyewe, na kama haujui kusoma uijaze na mtu unayemwamini. Hakikisha ile majibu umepatiana ni sahihi na ni ya kweli. Pia thibitisha insurance cover imeangalia maslahi yako, na usiwahi sign proposal form ambayo haijaandikwa kitu chochote. Pia ukumbuke kujitolea photocopy yako. Sasa wacha nianze hiyo process. By the way, ukisubmit hiyo proposal form, uhakikishe umepatiwa policy document. Uisome na uielewe. Hiyo ndio thibitisho ya kuwa una bima. Asante sana.
Ujumbe huu umeletwa kwako na IRA.
Welcome back. Many thanks for staying with us. It's now time for business news, and 4 startups have been given a green light to offer pilot technology services at the Konza City Technopolis. ICT Cabinet Secretary Joe Musheru says this is part of an initiative aimed at giving local startups a ready market for their innovations by promoting adoption of local ICT solutions.
3 local and an Israeli ICT startups will provide smart solutions to an estimated 30,000 residents of Konza City Technopolis. The 4 startups have secured an opportunity to pilot the innovations at the Konza City Technopolis in a bidding competition that attracted 99 applicants. Personal WatchGuard, Ikral Hub and HPass local ICT startups will pilot the innovations on intelligent asset management, smart parking management, and access management, respectively. On the other hand, Israeli Stepia Assistive Accessibility Technology will offer its services on traffic management.
Israel's innovation and startup ecosystem is quite advanced and has many lessons for us here in Kenya, and partnerships that can enable many things.
ICT Cabinet Secretary Joe Musheru says piloting of the smart services is part of the government initiative of promoting local ICT content uptake, adding that if successful, the services will be rolled out in other parts of the country.
It gives me confidence that our efforts as a nation towards nurturing our innovation, aptitude, and developing and adopting homegrown solutions is bearing fruit.
Kenya has been encouraged to strengthen ICT global collaboration ventures to secure funding for ICT startups.
Working on these together, coming with different ideas, creates this synergy, a synergy that is very crucial to the success of this smart city, the first smart city in Kenya.
The development just weeks after the Kenyan and Korean government signed a contract worth 9.4 billion shillings for construction of the Kenya Advanced Institute of Science and Technology at Konza City.
As residents of Nairobi and its environs can now seek medical services from the comfort of their homes following the launch of 21 in-network referral medical centers. Penda Health General Manager Kenya, Marion Kago, says a telemedicine niche in Kenya is gaining traction buoyed by innovation as well as the need for efficiency and convenience in delivery of medical services.
Telemedicine leverages on technology to deliver healthcare to clients at a distance, and with the COVID-19 pandemic limiting movement, telemedicine might be the answer to improve efficiency and reduce healthcare delivery costs. Traveling long distances and spending hours in hospital queues might soon be a thing of the past. Residents of Nairobi and its environs will be among the pioneers following the launch of 21 in-network referral medicine centers. The referral center located at Nairobi's Central Business District will provide specialist services such as pediatric, gynecologist and dental consultations and advanced ultrasound diagnostics and laboratory tests.
We do not work in isolation. We work together with the other 21 branches of Penda Medical Centers. And what usually happens is we have other clinicians from the different facilities referring complex cases to this branch.
Our other outpatients facilities are able to, through technology, reach out to the CBD branch, this Kimathi Street Referral Center. They are able to tag in to the specialists we have here.
Elsewhere, Equity Afya, an initiative under the Equity Group Foundation, has invested in modern technology to diagnose, treat and manage patient care. One of the facilities along Gong Road now incorporates the use of artificial intelligence, enabling an eye specialist to diagnose and interpret the overall vision of a client. The artificial intelligence capabilities will analyze multiple patient eye scans and patients' medical history, thus giving a diagnosis that has proven to be 99% accurate with the other manual visual acuity scans or tests. Equity Afya has so far opened 5 new medical centers in Nairobi, bringing the franchise's network to 41.
And the East African community will set up a trade hotline in all the EAC border points to provide traders with a platform to register their complaints and get prompt feedback. East Africa Community Secretary General Peter Mathuki says the platform is part of reforms aimed at harmonizing trade standards across the trading bloc and boost the movement of goods and services.
Intertrade within the East African community accounts for partly 15%, despite the economic bloc having a consumer base of 146 million people. The EAC Secretariat says there is need for creation of a communication platform to offer traders vital information on each member state's import requirements to reduce snarl-ups at border points. East African Community Secretary General Peter Mathuki says the soon-to-be-launched trade hotline is part of harmonizing cross-border tariffs strategy to help traders get crucial information on region's trade standards in real time.
So I've seen there's a lot of now goodwill that is happening, and we would want to give any support that is required as an East African community so that we can have intra-EAC trade increase. To support this, we have introduced what we call hotline.
This as the volume of maize imports into Kenya from Tanzania has increased in recent days after the Kenyan government relaxed some import requirements.
Toka tarehe ya jana, toka siku ya jana, bidhaa zikiwemo mahindi kutoka Tanzania ambayo yalikuwa yamezuiwa siku za nyuma, sasa hivi yamekuanza kuingia bila vikwazo vyovyote, na maelekezo ambayo wametupa watendaji wa kituo hichi cha Namanga ni kwamba vile vikwazo vilivyokuwepo vimeondolewa.
Kufikia sasa mahindi imeanza kuingia Kenya kwa wingi. Kwa hivyo tutafanya kazi, tutashirikiana na wenzetu wa Tanzania tuone kama kazi inaenda vizuri.
The EAC Secretariat has earmarked reduction of paperwork at the border points to reduce smuggling of goods into the trading bloc.
And so what is happening, there's a lot of now illegal movements using illegal border points because of these aspects. So we have requested the border management to come up with a structure, a system, to support the small-scale traders so that they don't start doing or using illegal, movements along the border. They use the official border point, and they are supported to make sure that they have their goods moving.
Now, more than 6 months after Boeing's 737 MAX was cleared to fly again by U.S. regulators, the aircraft finds itself under intense scrutiny once again. The discovery of a potential electrical problem last month led to the renewed grounding of more than 100 aeroplanes belonging to 24 airlines around the world. Here are the details of this and other stories making headlines across the globe.
Deliveries of many more new Boeing 737 MAX aircraft have been suspended. Boeing and the U.S. regulator, the Federal Aviation Administration, say they are working closely to address the issue, but the affair has given new energy to critics who claim the 737 MAX was allowed back into service prematurely and that issues which could have contributed to 2 fatal crashes have not been fully analyzed or addressed. According to Boeing and the FAA, the problem first became apparent during testing of a newly manufactured 737 MAX 8, which had yet to be delivered to its owner. It was found that electrical power systems on the aircraft were not working correctly. The fault was traced to poor electrical bonding. Meanwhile, the biggest U.S. gasoline pipeline will not resume full operations for several more days due to a ransomware cyber attack blamed on a shadowy criminal network called DarkSide. The attack on the Colonial Pipeline, which carries nearly half the fuel consumed along the U.S. East Coast, is one of the most disruptive digital ransom schemes ever reported. While the impact remains to be quantified, the pipeline shutdown will reduce fuel availability in the near term, push up prices, and force refiners to cut production because they have no way to ship the gas. The privately owned company says it is working on restarting in phases with the goal of substantially restoring operational service by the end of the week. Finally, Dell Technologies chief executive and founder Michael Dell says a worldwide lack of semiconductors is proving a challenge for computer manufacturers, but the shortage is likely to persist for some years. A surge in demand for electronic devices coupled with U.S. sanctions against Chinese technology firms has caused the death of the chips, crimping output of items ranging from cars to computers and smartphones. With an annual order volume of $70 billion, the firm is one of the most important customers of many semiconductor makers, but still had to pay a premium to secure supply. He says older and cheaper semiconductors are hard to get hold of.
Kupata skiza tune hii, jiamini, dial star 811 star 397 hash.
Jiamini na ujikubali kuwa wewe kibinafsi. Ikiwezekana, cheza kama wewe, kwa sababu wengine wote wameshachukuliwa. Aliyesalia ni wewe mwenyewe, na kando yako hakuna mwingine. Inakufaa kucheza ngoma kiwewe, kana kwamba hamna yeyote anayekutazama. Kuwa mabadiliko
Ili kupata skiza tune hiyo ya jiamini, dial star 811 star 397 hash. Star 811 star 397 hash.
It's now time for sports news. Kenya Breweries Limited has partnered with the Team Kenya for the Tokyo 2020 Olympics by announcing a sponsorship boost of 45 million shillings towards the team. The Kenyan team will head to Japan in July for the games set to be held from the 23rd of July to 8th of August this year.
Kenya Breweries Limited has partnered with Team Kenya ahead of the Tokyo 2020 Olympic Games, slated for 23rd July to 8th August 2021 in Japan. This follows the company's announcement of 45 million shillings sponsorship to the team.
To be honest, it brings us a lot of pride and joy to see men like you unifying us here in Kenya.
Athletics mirrors KBL's goals and objectives, making it a natural partnership for us. This is because through our brand Tusker, we have always endeavored to bring Kenyans together so that we can each stand tall and celebrate.
The sponsorship comes days after all Olympic-bound sportsmen and women received their first vaccination, with plans underway to provide the second dose in the lead-up to the Games. The sponsorship also comes at a time when the teams are in dire need of funds to cater for the expensive bubble trainings.
We understand that the environment with which we are operating is very harsh, but we trust that through concerted efforts from both government and the private sector, we shall be able to achieve our goals and ensure a successful participation in the Olympics.
As part of the partnership, KBL will also be involved in the production of the traveling kit for Team Kenya heading to Tokyo.
You could see these young athletes who are donning the national colors. I'm sure they are not going to let you down. They will carry the flag high in the international stage. And I believe that we will be able to make sure that we will be able to do what we have never done before.
More than 90 athletes have already qualified for the Games in Tokyo, alongside the national women volleyball team Malkia Strikers and the national rugby sevens team.
The World Under-20 Local Organizing Committee Chairperson, retired Lieutenant General Jackson Tuwei, has assured the rest of the world that their country is on course to stage the prestigious athletics event in August. Tuwei said the country has put measures in place to ensure that the event is not only safe from COVID-19 pandemic but also from other threats. Tuwei was speaking at Moi International Sports Center, Kasarani, where he received a sports kit for officials and volunteers for the World Under-20 tournament.
In Kenya, the government has taken very, very strict measures in terms of looking at COVID-19 protocols, and that is extended not only to sports, but even other areas, the whole country. We are happy that the government has taken these measures, and we are very serious also here that we are going to take the same measures, not only at the stadium, but from arrival. We would like to look at arrival, how we meet the visitors from there, what actions are supposed to be taken there. The medical team and all of us are working on that. How do you transport them from there, meeting all the protocols? How do you get them to the testing center? Because first of all, before you even go to the hotel where you are booked or the village, it is important that you are checked. Wonderful.
Elsewhere, 4 Kenyan boxers will feature in the Konstantin Korotkov Memorial International Boxing Championships tomorrow in Russia have expressed their optimism ahead of the major international event. The boxers will be using the event to prepare for this year's Tokyo Olympic Games, slated for 23rd July to 8th of August in Japan.
4 Kenyan boxers, including Africa Zone 3 Super Heavyweight Gold medalist Elia Joey, 2015 Africa Boxing Championship Lightweight Gold medalist Nico Koth, Commonwealth Games Flyweight Bronze medalist Christine Ongari, and National Welterweight Champion Elizabeth Akinyi are the only Kenyan representatives in the Konstantin Korotkov Memorial International Boxing Championship.
Kila mtu alikuja na kujia ushindi, kwa hivyo ring ndio itaamua, kwa sababu kama ni mazoezi, nimeshafanya mazoezi ya kutosha.
Imekuwa poa, ijakuwa mbaya. Nimeshuka, imesumbua kidogo zaidi, lakini nimeng'ang'ana nayo, imeingia. So tuko ready kwa fight.
Nimejitayarisha vizuri. Kesho nacheza na mtu kutoka Dominican Republic. Last bout ya kesho. Nimejitayarisha vilivyo.
Kwa hii game
Kwa lazima mshindwa apatikane na mshindi apatikane. Na naomba sana, nimejitahidi, nimekuwa na trainia, nitaka kuwa mshindi.
The Tokyo Olympics bound pugilists have been punching their bags furiously, with eyes firmly trained on the medals podium after resuming training at their camp in Laviton, Nairobi. Frederick Muki for Channel 1 Sports.
Locally, Gor Mahia players and coaching staff were today tested for COVID-19 ahead of the resumption of the Kenyan Premier League, and the league, alongside other sporting disciplines, was stopped in March after a rise in number of COVID-19 cases in the country. Before the league was stopped, Gor Mahia had just earned 3 points after beating Bidco United 3-1 at the Kasarani Stadium. They sit 7th on the table with 22 points from 14 matches, a whooping 14 points behind the leaders Tusker FC, who have played 2 matches more. Kogalo will kickstart the resumption of the top flight with a match against Wazito FC.
It's a lot. Finally, we have a smile back on our faces. We've missed playing, as you know. So I think this is a big step for the return of the games, and we hope that we'll start playing as soon as possible.
Season ni tofauti. So hii season imetupata hivyo, tuko number 7. Ni tough, but siwezi sema Tusker shall win league. Bado tuko na second leg yote. So na hope tu tukicheza league games zote tutakuwa namba poa.
We stop around 50 days. This is too much, and it's not easy for players. We need to prevent injuries and big injuries because we stop enough time to do a new pre-season, and now we have maybe short time to prepare the first game.